Greetings, fellow earth dwellers. Today on Yoga with Paige, we are finding some play in child pose. So this quick little flow is centered all around this foundational pose. We move from it and back and forth. We begin in child pose and we end in child pose. So it's kind of just a fun little creative transition class. We don't have any vinyasas, no sun salutations. It is a very, very grounding flow. Great for those days if you're feeling a little anxious or we want just a little bit more connection. Also, super, super fun to add in some play and just have some childlike wonder. You don't need any prompts for this class, so whenever you're ready to have some fun, we get started in child pose at the back of the mat. Sitting up nice and tall on the heels, begin to creep the fingertips down, melting the heart, finding your first child pose of the day. Reaching out the fingertips, allowing the body to just surrender here. We'll stay here for a few breaths, allowing yourself to come into this practice. Really reaching out the fingertips towards the edge of the mat, finding a nice long arms. Maybe already feeling a big stretch in the side body. Let the belly fill with air on your next inhale. And exhale it all out. Find one more big breath here. And then on your next exhale, press through the palms to lift the chest, sending your body over and up onto the belly, coming into a little cobra, sphinx, upward facing dog, whatever feels good to you here. Finding a slight little back bend, nothing too crazy, active in the legs, just reaching the chest forward. And on your next exhale, connect to the core to send the hips back, child pose. One big breath in. And exhale, press through the hands again, coming back into whatever variation of this posture you took. Doing this for 3 rounds, so this is our second. Waking up the back body. Exhale, child pose. One big breath in, really reach with the fingertips. And exhale, press around through the back. And meeting back in child pose. This time, sweeping the arms by the sides. Maybe take the forehead to the mat. Hands come behind the lower back. Interlace the fingers. Pull the hands back towards the hips. And then raise them behind the back. They're trying to come over the head, but no need to force anything here. Just a nice opening in the shoulders, the upper back. Maybe you want to find a little kind of rock. Let the hands drop to the left side and find a little twist. We're here for about one more breath. So take the hands back by the hips and use the hands to really pull the chest up as you lift up back onto the knees. Release the hands. Inhale, come up onto the knees and extend this left leg long. If you don't have enough space by the side, you can turn to the long edge of the mat. So plant the heel in line with this right knee, reaching up, arms face up. And exhale, gate pose. The left hand crawls down the leg as the right sweeps overhead, keeping the chest nice and open. Finding a few breaths here, just allowing yourself to gently expand. No need to force any of these movements. Just Just finding some fun. One more breath. And then raising up, we're going to windmill around. Plant this right hand down, reach the left up for a twist. Really creating space in the back body. We can stay here. Maybe we sweep that left arm behind the back, trying to wrap around and grab the right thigh. And on your next exhale, gently release. Plant that left hand by the right. Hands come underneath the shoulders. And find 2 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, tailbone and gaze comes up as the belly lowers. And exhale, round through the back. Press away from the mat. One more round, moving with your breath. Finding a nice neutral spine before taking that left leg back to meet the right and child pose. Send the fingertips out, arms come long for 1 breath. And then exhale, sweep them by the sides. Finding your bound hands behind the lower back. Taking them overhead, maybe feeling a little bit more open here. Just notice how the body feels. Trying not to crunch the neck. The name of the game is space today. It's what we're looking for. All right, 1 more breath. Before using your hands to help you lift the chest, release the hands, come up onto the knees. Inhale and exhale. Extend the right leg long. Find your position here. Make sure that you have everything set up and good to go before reaching the arms out, shoulder height. And exhale, left arm comes overhead, big reach. Listening to the sound of your breath as you hold this stretch for another round. And then plant the left hand. Reach the right up, big twist. Taking your gaze with the fingers up towards the sky. And if you took the bind on the other side, you can take that now. And exhale to release. Plant both hands and find 2 rounds of cat-cow. Waking up the spine. Maybe finding some flow with your breath. Before returning back to neutral, take the right leg back in and child pose. Melt the forehead down. Inhale, lift the chest, come up onto the hands, bring them under the shoulders, coming into thread the needle. Inhale, reach the left arm up, and exhale, come underneath the right arm, lying on the left ear. Just 1 breath. Press back up, reach the left hand high, and finish it out. Send the hips back, child pose. Inhale to lift, coming into the other side. Exhale. Right arm peels up, big breath. And exhale, take it with you as you scoop the right arm underneath. Pressing back up, reach high, finish it out nice and strong. Plant the hand in child pose. Inhale, lift the head. Bring the chest up, carefully lift up onto the knees and step this right leg up, coming into a low lunge. Use your control. Square the hips and sink down. Bring the hips down and forward. Really opening up through the front of the left leg. Inhale, arms sweep overhead, bending at the elbows, grasping the opposite elbow as you take the chest upwards. Finding a nice little back bend here. We don't have to go too far. Dropping the shoulders down, finding a few more breaths here, just letting the hips open. Coming back to the breath. Releasing the elbows on your next exhale, and try to send the hips back into half splits without using the hands. Flex the foot. Toes come back towards the face as you sweep the chest down towards the leg. Nice long spine. Big breaths. One more. And gently lift the chest. Sweep that right leg back. And child pose. How did you guess? Inhale. Sweep up into your low lunge on the left side. Squaring the hips. Arms come overhead. Try to grasp the elbows the opposite way. So whatever arm you didn't have in front last time, switch it up. Let's try to balance ourselves out today. Sinking the hips low, grounding down through the top of the right foot. Maybe closing the eyes, connecting to yourself, finding a moment of silence. And on your next exhale, release the hands. Sweeping back into our half splits. Waking up the back of the leg. Use your breath to help you stabilize here. Challenge yourself today. Always good. Keeping the mind and the body fresh. Here we go. Last breath. And gently lift the chest. Step the left knee back towards the right. And sink back into our child pose, reaching the fingertips out in front. This time in our child pose, I invite you to widen the knees to the edges of the mat and really sink down for a few breaths. Coming into a nice wide child. Letting the groins release. Maybe find a few little hip sways to the side. Really work through them. We're coming up into another hip opener next. On this next exhale, find some stillness. Really send the hips down and back. Allow for a gentle release. Soften where you can. And then inhale, lift the head and the chest. Gently walk the hands back towards the hips. Coming into a malasana. So rock the hips forward to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and kind of crab walk your way into a little squat. Take your time to settle in and get here. Find what feels good, sending the hips down and heart up. Take the arms out by the sides, using the elbows to gently open the knees. If your heels don't reach the mat, it's totally okay. Just anchor back with your breath. Finding this present moment. This present moment is all we have. The future has not yet come. The past we cannot change. Take hands to heart center. Feel the fire in your heart, the power in your body. And on your next exhale, release the hands from heart center. Right fingertips find the mat. Inhale, sweep the left arm overhead. And exhale, circle it in front of the face to plant the fingertips, and right arm sweeps overhead. Begin to move here with your breath, taking one at a time. Adding in any other little movements that may feel good, any little wiggles or wobbles. Taking anything else you might need here before we end back in our child pose. So make sure you even out both sides. And whenever you're ready, we meet back in child. Walk the hands forward, gently lower the knees. Bring the big toes together and sink the hips back. Maybe this time we plant the forehead and let the arms encircle the head or lie by the sides. Finding some connection to yourself. Taking these last few moments to just be with our breath, circling back and ending where we came. Full circle. Feeling the length of the spine as we decompress the back. Noticing the rhythm of your breath. And observing the state of your mind. And this is where we end our child pose play today. So I thank you very, very much for joining me on the mat and finding some little creative expression. I truly hope you enjoyed this class, and I would love to know your thoughts below. I look forward to the next time we see each other. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.